because correct me if I'm wrong here, isn't Michigan the all-time winningest program, like just by sheer number of wins?
Yeah, so like they did this whole thing like for the 100th anniversary of college football being played. This was like 2 years ago or something. And I think like
it was 150.
Yeah, so it's like in terms of national championships, I want to say it's Bama. Actually, I'm sure it's Bama, but on winning percentage,
it is not Bama.
Oh,
it is Yale with 19.
Well, no. So Yale has won more national championships than Bama, or is that winning percentage?
Oh, sorry, that's national championship. I was looking something up.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so
I don't even care about percentage. Just like who's won the most
national
total
championships. Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure that is Alabama, right?
At the current FBS level, yes. Just because
Yale. But I think what you're talking about, Subi, is winning percentage. Winning percentage is the statistic where it's like you get Yale, you get Harvard, you get like all these old schools that have been around for 100 and some odd years, and then that kind of skews the statistic a little bit. But yeah, Michigan is easily, I would say, have to be top 5. Maybe, for sure top 10, probably top 7, top 6.
I'd put them top 7, but I think the problem is people act like blue blood is not something you get and then you keep in perpetuity. The University of Chicago has 2 national championships, 10 Big Ten championships. They're not a blue blood; they're D3.
Right.
So I think the idea of a blue blood evolves. If you fall off a cliff, Alabama wasn't a blue blood in the early 2000s. They were fucking sucking it up with Mike Price. Actually, Mike Price got fired before he coached the game. But Shula and Dennis Franchione, like, they weren't blue bloods because they sucked.
So, Kevin, like, that's where, for me personally, I think it takes a ton for you to lose your blue blood status. Like, Indiana has been terrible in college basketball for the better part of 2 decades, but I'm not even close to kicking them out of the club. I think you can gain more. I think 10 years ago, UConn was not a blue blood. I think they are now a blue blood in basketball. I think you can gain more into that club. I just think it takes like an insane amount of losing and ineptitude and just terribleness, I suppose, for me to kick out a school like Indiana. I think I'd have to do that with college football too.
I think a comparable program to Indiana for you, Subi, would be, and I think Kevin would agree with this, is Nebraska. Nebraska has never been good. I'm 23 years old. I was born in 99. So I've never seen Nebraska be good, right?
You were 2 the last time they made it to anything relevant. That was when Miami kicked their doors in for 3-4 quarters. That was the last time they were relevant.
Oh, you guys are
the Dominican Sue year, they had like a tiny shred of confidence, and then they got killed by Texas.
So, I can ask my dad about, when Nebraska was the best team in the country every single year, right? For probably a 7-8 year period. And they won multiple national championships. But Nebraska has been completely irrelevant, completely just, awful, right? Ever since the move to the Big Ten. So, there are people out there that want to say Nebraska is a blue blood, but they haven't been relevant in 20 plus years.
It's guys like
not
Mad
on a
Dog
conference level, not on a regional geographic kind of level, nothing at all.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to disagree with you on Nebraska's irrelevancy. Being a comedy is still relevant. Step
They're in the news for the
widely celebrated.
Scott Frost was good theater, I got to tell you.
And how are we not going to forget Bo Pelini and his cat obsession?
Bo Pelini was actually they wanted his ass gone. That's what I remember.
That firing never made any sense to me because they were like, "Oh, Scott Frost." I'm like, he won a lot of games with a decent program and a shit conference. Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. That's what makes
it's the same thing with Shaka Smart at Texas. You knew it was going to end badly.
That's what fan bases. When people hate certain fan bases like Nebraska, they're like, "Oh, we deserve better than Bo Pelini, who was racking up 9-win seasons." Which is pretty damn good.
Fans wanted Mark Richt over Mario Cristobal. That's awesome.
Well, the jury's still out on Mario.
I mean, I think this year is going to be a little better, but then we wanted Manny Diaz and
640 years.
Dude, Jared, that's so funny you brought that up. We were talking about Miami's coaching history. Randy Shannon, right? He was.
Don't bring up Randy Shannon.
Randy Shannon.
That was when I first started
Al
like
Golden.
Miami. Oh, don't get me started by that tie-wearing loser. I wanted to. Okay, I wasn't like Miami was one of the teams I rooted for, but they were not like my favorite team. I never had a favorite team. And I wanted to sock Al Golden in the jaw every time I saw a stupid ass with that white shirt sweating through it, that stupid ass fucking orange tie. It irritated the fuck out of me. You're not Ball Bear Bryant to put a fucking track jacket on, you fucking loser, and actually recruit somebody, you fucking jackass. Like, I hated fucking Al Golden. It was like that. I despised him. I didn't like Mark Richt towards the end when he had his son calling plays. That was bad. But like Al Golden, I remember watching the ass whooping that Deshaun Watson and the boys put on them. I think it was like 56-7. Brad Kaya got knocked out with like a back-breaking concussion, and then they scored. And I was like, oh my God, this is bad. So, I don't want to bring up more Al Golden. It just triggers me.
I had to poke fun there.
All right. We talked enough college ball for a little bit. Let's talk a little random weird shit. Myles Garrett is somehow in the news. I actually saw this from a Cleveland source. Not Chris put it in this. I saw it from my buddy who's a Cleveland fan, and it was like them freaking out that Myles Garrett's talking about wanting to play for Philly someday. I only brought this up because players like player movement. It's a thing in the NFL, not as much as the NBA. The NBA's James Harden is literally the epitome of why it can go too far. I just find this whole story hilarious because he's just complimenting Jalen Hurts, and Cleveland fans are losing their fucking minds right now, thinking that they're about to lose Myles Garrett to the Eagles. It's not, guys. We don't have the money to pay for him, so you're good. We're still paying Darius Slay and James Bradbury way too much money for their age. I found the story fucking hilarious, and then because Chris put it in the chat, I was like, oh fucking, I'll bring it up. I thought it was funny. I just love fan bases when they see like their guy compliment another team, they automatically think their guy's leaving that market. But this is just preseason in general, man. Like David Bakhtiari was like trending today because Aaron Rodgers had like a cryptic tweet or something. So this is just why I cannot wait. Kevin, the six-pack returns in 3 weeks. Ironically, the 1 year we actually completely kept score the entire time is the 1 year I actually lost.
I would like to point out that Jared just said the 1 year that we actually kept track of it. It's someone else was checking my work.
Not actually kept track of it because I kept track of it in 21 and in 20. But there was a discrepancy in 2 weeks. That's why we agreed not to pay it out. I had a spreadsheet this year, and I made sure it was official. And Matt won fair and square also because I got a little too ballsy with some of my picks in the season.
So again, Jared says the year we're actually doing this with some credibility.
But I beat you in Savannah or you and Pat by like 20, 30 points.
And not a notebook in his desk that he lost every other week. He lost that 1 year. He didn't do that.
Okay. I also whooped you in Savannah and you and Patrick by like 30 or 40, 20 wins. It was like it was close. Okay.
Have you listened to Tailgate on the Quad? We're terrible at picking games.
Exactly. This is why my argument makes sense. I would pick college games decently. But then again, once I started gambling, I really started just that was what killed college football for me. I don't know. I'm ready to talk a little fantasy football. Mason, it's your time, my friend. We're talking to Fantasy Sleepers on Mason's Fantasy Football Shots, presented by SeatGeek. $20 off your first purchase. Promo code BellyUp Sports. Mason, the floor is yours, my friend. We're talking fantasy ball. That is not the way I wanted. Nope. The freaking layouts are bullshit. There we go. There we go. Drive you right in there. Mason, the floor is yours. If this thing ever fucking moves. There we go. No? Okay. There it is.
Got it. All righty. So I've got 4 guys here. I wish Matt was here for this first one. So I'll get it started. I've got this titled as 4 guys that you do not want to leave your drafts without. This is just my opinion, but here we go. And these are all according to half PPR. Some leagues don't play PPR. Some guys just go standard. So it just depends. But first off, I've got Garrett Wilson, New York Jets. He last year, as we know, had a phenomenal year, offensive rookie of the year, led all rookies in catches and receiving yards. And to keep in mind, did this with guys like Zach Wilson, Flacco, Mike White. And as we all know, they added Aaron Rodgers over the offseason. So there is quite a bit of reason to feel like this guy is going to elevate his game and be the wide receiver 1 for the Jets. And, we've seen in the past how well Aaron Rodgers elevates the play of his number 1 receiver or go-to guy on whichever team he's been on. It's been the Packers in the past, but now with the Jets. So missed no games to injury last year. And his competition, when we look at the receiving corps for the Jets, we've got Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Corey Davis. Corey Davis is a guy who is pretty much going to be irrelevant from a fantasy perspective. He's the type of guy that could get cut by the Jets before the season even starts. Completely irrelevant. Mecole Hardman, free agent signing from the Chiefs, type of guy who maybe has 1 to 2 good fantasy relevant games the entire year. Not going to be any kind of battle between Mecole Hardman and Garrett Wilson, particularly coming off the year that Wilson just had. And then we got Allen Lazard coming over from the Packers, was their wide receiver 2 last year, battled it out with Christian Watson, but everything we've seen in camp, everything we've seen from a media perspective, both with Wilson and with Rodgers, everything points to the fact that this is going to be a legitimate link up here. There's no reason to believe that within the Jets that Garrett Wilson is going to be that wide receiver 1. And there's no reason to believe that this guy is not going to have north of 80 receptions this year with, while Rodgers is in the back end of his career, no reason to believe that he can't still be extremely serviceable, right? And we know that Rodgers likes to have a go-to guy, really, primarily focuses on one receiver in that core that he's on. Spreads the ball around a little bit, but not all that much. So I took him in my league. I took him in the the second round. He was still there. And I think he's going to be great. I think he has a top 5 wide receiver finish this year, and does fantastic. Next up, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs, the Detroit Lions rookie out of Alabama. Just a dynamic player. For those who didn't watch him at Alabama last year, transferred in from Georgia Tech. You think about the supporting cast around Bryce Young, extremely minimal, almost irrelevant. At times, Bryce Young really carried that squad. Jahmyr Gibbs was great. He's a threat in the pass game. He's a threat in the run game. And he's a lead in both. And very rarely do you find guys like him who come in to such a potent offense like the Lions are going to have. They were top 5 in pretty much every single offensive metric that's tracked last year, despite missing they missed the playoffs last year just barely. But David Montgomery is going to be a guy who is going to be Gibbs' biggest threat, and I think a lot of people feel like Montgomery is going to get a lot of the carries and targets within the red zone, but everywhere else, Gibbs is going to be the go-to guy, both in the pass game, both in the run game. So there's no reason to believe that this guy can't really elevate his game if he becomes an integral part of this Lions offense and makes an impression early. And everything that we've seen out of Detroit is pointing to the fact that this dude has been highly involved. Everyone has great things to say about him and that he's going to be elite. If he's not great this year, next year, sort of similar to Garrett Wilson, is going to be ridiculous. I think he's poised for a top 10 finish in terms of running back overall point total. No reason to believe that he can't do that with David Montgomery, a guy who was not great in Chicago in terms of fantasy.
He's a yard eater. That's what he is. He's not going to break a long run. He's going to get you 3-4 yards a clip. He's going to be there just to get you the easy, like shorter ones. But no, I completely agree. Honestly, like Mace, I want to change a little bit. This isn't sleep. This is league winner sleepers. This is like last year.
Oh yeah, these are guys that you.
This is like Kenneth Walker last year.
Yes.
Or
you gotta have. You gotta have.
Yeah, like or what was it? Devontae Smith towards the end of the season where he just like was literally just like having scoring 2 or 3 touchdowns a game. These are league winner sleepers, by the way, folks. These are not like you're gonna get them in the 10th round, like fucking around after you've had about 3 or 4 beers.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And I think you make a good point, Jared. And this can't be stressed enough. Jahmyr Gibbs is the type of guy who, is going to catch a screen pass and take it to the house for 80 yards. This guy is 0 to 60, extremely fast, explosive player in an offense that's already highly explosive, right? Yeah. You've got guys like Amon-Ra. You have guys like Jamison Williams, even though he's probably going to miss time, both because of the suspension and the injury that just came up a couple days ago. But they have a lot of talent in this Lions offense, and there's no reason that this guy can't be the focal point alongside Amon-Ra. So he's the type of guy that if you have the opportunity to take him, don't feel like you are overdrafting on this guy, because the opportunity to take him is very slim, probably around that 2-3 kind of turn. Maybe in some leagues, a 3-4 kind of turn. But if you pass up on him, I promise you will regret it. He is that good. Moving on, we've got Calvin Ridley. Hasn't played a full season of football since 2021. As we know, he's coming off the suspension for a year that involved betting on football games. I think it was literally one game. This dude bet on one singular football game. They banned him for a year, right? Trying to make a point. Similar to the Lions, this Jaguars team, this offense is going to be explosive. This is going to be a team that is going to not lead the league, but they're going to be top 3 in pretty much every category that you look at. It's going to be Kansas City, Jacksonville, Buffalo. Those are the 3 teams that you can count on, and maybe Cincinnati, right? Those are going to be your top 4 teams that are going to be high-powered offenses, put up a lot of stats.
You're talking about Garrett Wilson before. I throw the Jets in there as that 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so when we think about Ridley, I think it's going to be a battle between him and Christian Kirk in terms of who's going to be that WR1. I think a lot of people give Ridley the nod just because he's more experienced. Christian Kirk was, good last year. He wasn't great. And I think Lawrence is kind of in that area where this season is kind of going to be his breakout year. Last year he was good, wasn't great. Picked it up towards the end of the year, but this is kind of going to be that season where he makes that leap into this conversation where people start comparing him to the Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, right? Jalen Hurts. He is really going to take that next step, and I think a lot of people feel like Ridley is going to be his go-to guy. He's 28 years old. I think the highest.
I still can't believe me and him are the same age. It's wild to me.
Yeah. I mean, and it feels like Ridley's been in the league for like 7 years. It seems like he's been in the league forever. Yeah. We all watched him play at Alabama, and he was great then. So, look, I think he can come back after not playing a full season of ball for literally a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. I think he can come back. He can put up 1,000-yard receiving season and be, a solid in competitive leagues, right? Be a solid WR2, be a solid flex play. And put up 5, 6, 7 touchdowns this year. I don't think that's outrageous. I think they're going to spread the ball around a decent amount in this offense. This is the second year that this unit's going to be together. Talking about Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, all these guys, right? So I think Calvin Ridley can come in, make a really huge impact. and, have serious fantasy implications.
Perfect.
Fourth and last, I'll touch on it quickly, Jared. We've got CeeDee Lamb of Dallas. I watched him play at OU. Fantastic. Last year was his first year that he kind of made that jump from, being a flex guy, being a WR2 guy, to that number one wide receiver, go-to guy on the team. He finished as the overall WR7 last year with Dallas. Now he's got to deal with Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks, and I think that's good for him. I think that is going to be great for him. Defenses cannot key in on this dude when you've got to worry about Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks, even though Brandon Cooks is at the end of his career. He is still a very serviceable receiver that if you don't pay enough attention to him, he's going to burn you, and he is going to absolutely eat on defenses. I think this guy could easily go for a 12, 13, 14, 15 touchdown season. I think Pollard is, maybe he elevates, but I really don't see him being much better than he did last year. So I think this dude, right alongside with Garrett Wilson, top 5 receiver, if you've got the opportunity to take him, I think you have to. He's going to be Dak's go-to guy every single year that he's been in the league. This is his 3rd year now. He's improved his game. I think there's no reason to believe that he won't this year, particularly because of the fact that he is, and we've been seeing the videos on Twitter. You've seen the videos on TikTok of the plays that this guy's been making in camp. He is cooking guys like Trayvon Diggs. He's making ridiculous catches.
I mean,
and while
to
Dak,
be fair,
Trayvon
Diggs is like,
no. Let's not big up Trayvon Diggs here, but I think a lot of us feel like Trayvon Diggs is one of the better defensive backs in this league, and CeeDee Lamb is, for lack of better words, embarrassing this dude on the practice field. Literally, it felt like every other day this guy was making pretty ridiculous catches day in, day out. So I think this is another guy that if you have the opportunity to take him, go for it. He can be right up there with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and there's no reason not to believe that. So those are 4 guys that I feel like you gotta get. You can't leave your draft without them, or they are gonna make you pay.
All right, so fellas, the 3 of us will go around and tell us our favorite out of the 5 he picked. Or the 4 he picked. You have Garrett Wilson,
Jahmyr Gibbs, Calvin Ridley, CeeDee Lamb.
I'll go first. It's maybe because I drafted him and I named him in me and Kevin's fantasy league Jags money line for obvious joke reasons. It is Calvin Ridley. I think he is the piece that Jaguars offense was missing last year. They lacked a real vertical threat, and Calvin Ridley, as Kevin, as an Alabama fan, can tell you, that motherfucker, when he gets moving, is hard to stop. My worst memory of Calvin Ridley is watching him light up my Eagles for I think $195 and 3 tutties against Ronald Darby. Chris is scratching his head in the back room right now. He remembers that game. And Calvin Ridley may be one of the most talented receivers of all time that has never really shown his full potential. I think with Dougie P, the visor mechanic himself, and old Sunshine, he actually could accelerate because he could excel. There is no real number 1 receiver in Jacksonville. Christian Kirk is a bona fide 2. If Ridley really gets to Atlanta Falcons Ridley, if not better, that's a good 1-2 punch. Because I think Christian Kirk is a top 5, top 8 number 2 receiver. And with Ridley at 1, that is an elite combo between the 2 of them with Evan Ingram. And I think Zay Jones is their slot guy. A great passing attack. I think my favorite here is easily Calvin Ridley.
Absolutely, Jared.
The value alone is a sell.
A lot of people are going to pass up on him, and you think about it from just a football perspective. Now with Calvin Ridley, it feels like the Jags are pretty complete, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they can rival teams like Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City, right? They have all the pieces. And so, maybe the defense lacks a little bit because of the lack of star power, but they have all the pieces on the offensive end to seriously make that jump into that.
we forget on Jacksonville's defense, all blue chip guys. Subs, who's your favorite out of these four?
Man, I might tell you guys something, and I'm hoping you don't get mad, but I'm actually going to go with CD. The reason I'm going with CD Lamb is because in the other three scenarios, you have an adjustment period that you may have to account for. First year with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers together. Calvin Ridley's coming back. First year with him and T-Law in a real game. Jahmyr Gibbs is a rookie. I'm going to side with the tried and true combination that has been doing it the past, I think you had mentioned 2 years, two years, right? And I think you're right. CeeDee Lamb kind of gets overlooked in respect with some of the other huge name wide receivers. But I think the big play potential is there. And it really comes down to if Dak's going to limit those interceptions. I don't know. But for now, I think there will be a bit of an adjustment period with at least one of the other three that you mentioned. It could be Gibbs because he's a rookie. I love Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. If you heard everything he's talking about in Hard Knocks and in the media, he loves him too. And then everyone's excited for Calvin Ridley coming off of a fresh start. There's no real injury baggage that he's had to sustain for the past year and a half. And then we saw what Trevor Lawrence can do leading the Jags to a playoff victory. But I'm going to go with Dak and CD.
Awesome. All right, Kevin, out of those four, CD, Calvin, Gibbs, Wilson, who is your favorite out of those league-winning sleepers?
I do like Ridley and Gibbs, but I like Ridley's ADP. Gibbs is going up high in some leagues. CD's ADP is so high given his schedule. So I'm out on him. He's got a tough schedule for wide receivers. But to be different, I will go with Garrett Wilson. He also has a relatively high ADP, a few spots after CD. However, we've seen it. Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to not just stare down one receiver, but when he finds his guy, he will feed him. I think Garrett Wilson is the most talented receiver on this Jets roster. I think he's going to quickly become Aaron's guy. And I think you will see the benefits in fantasy.
Fair enough. Mace, brother, another good segment, another good week. Can't wait for next week's segment. Obviously, folks, next week will be college football. We'll still do our fantasy segment. It'll be a little earlier in the show, obviously, but it's going to be a good time. Now, before we have to let Subi go, we're talking hangover cures. Now, listen, anybody who knows the Korner Booth podcast knows all of us fellas, we like to get after it a little bit, okay? There's been some shows where me and Kevin have gotten a little inebriated to the point where it's gotten a little offensive. It's okay. But the Hangover Cure Draft presented by our friends at Canadips, one of my favorite companies out there right now. They are not only a proud sponsor of the Korner Booth podcast, they are a proud sponsor of Belly Up Sports. Promo code BellyUp20 for 20% off. Get their Biggie bags. Listen, kids, you pay for the tins. It's a good value, but the Biggie bags, 2.5 tins worth of, no, actually 3.25 tins worth of pouches, and it's only $10 more. You cannot beat it. And with this promo code, it goes down to 16. The amount of mint and spearmint I go through as a former dip user myself is insane. Also, being in sales, I need to keep my heart rate down. So I always am chewing on. So I always have a couple pouches in my mouth at some point. BellyUp20 is the promo code. Check them out. Canadips.com, promo code BellyUp20. All right. So here are the rules. It's simple. You get 3 selections. We're going to go in order from oldest to youngest.
Damn.
So Subi is going to start. He's got the first overall pick. Mason rounds up 4th. We're going snake draft, so Mason gets the 5th pick. And then we'll roll us back. Okay? I'll be writing down. Everyone gets 3 selections of your best hangover cures. You cannot go general. So if you're going to say a food, you have to say exactly what food it is. So if you have a certain type of sandwich you get from a certain, not locations, but like a general, like, so you say like bacon, egg, and cheese, you got to say bacon. That's what it is. A hot coffee. You can't say from Dunks or from fucking Starbucks or that coffee shop from some hipster down the block. You got to say it's a generalized item, but not a topic. So Subi, you start off first. What is your go-to number 1 first overall pick hangover cure?
All right, you let me know if I need to be more specific than this, but I'm going breakfast burrito.
Okay. Listen, that's on point. Listen, if eggs, cheese, sausage, hash browns, whatever you put in it, it's always going to win. I'm here for it. I'm going to go number 2. I am going to take egg sandwich. The greasier, the better. We're talking, I usually use fried chicken. Chicken cutlet, egg and cheese is my go-to. Listen, I was getting this tattooed on a few years ago. Kevin and me got so fucking hammered the night before on the show that I was basically like seeing double at the gym that morning before my tattoo appointment. A chicken cutlet, egg and cheese with bacon and chipotle aioli destroyed the hangover within 30 seconds. I was sitting pretty in a tattoo chair watching some guy drill a needle in my arm for 5 hours. I will always back up a breakfast sandwich as my number 1 pick. Kevin, you're up.
Another beer.
That's a good answer.
Yes!
I was thinking strictly food, but that's a good answer.
Can't be hungover if you're still drunk.
Kevin goes beer. Mason.
Yeah, no, I just got to go with a nice, strong cup of coffee. No, cream, no sugar, just a black, hot cup of coffee. Get your mind right, get you feeling a little bit better before you go eat.
There you go. All right, Mace, you have the 5th pick. What's your selection?
5th, I'll go with some Alka-Seltzer. I don't know how many of you guys use this, but hey, I'll tap an Alka-Seltzer every once in a while if I'm really feeling under the weather.
Mason, when are you gonna eat, dog?
Whenever I feel like it.
Yeah,
whenever my stomach, after I take the Alka-Seltzer and my stomach has settled down.
Get him a goddamn omelet or something. Jesus Christ. All right, Kev, what's your next selection?
A chicken biscuit.
Chicken. Ooh, going Southern on me.
You got the grease, you got the carbs, you got the protein. That's all you need.
All right, I'm going fucking Gatorade. Listen, the best thing to pair with a egg sandwich is something with more electrolytes that you don't need to know what to do with. Listen, one of the worst hangovers of my life, I had to go into work and work on the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks' fireplace. I'm not telling you I was okay, but that Gator light saved my life because I wanted to throw up all over the porta-john outside his house. It was bad. And I hung in there, and it saved my ass. But listen, there is nothing more powerful than a sports drink, a.k.a. Gatorade, when you're hungover. Subs.
All right. This might be a little too specific, but I get it every single time I'm hungover around noon. Jersey Mike's sandwich. I get a Jersey Mike's sub. I get
a deli sub. Got it.
Yeah, give me a sub for sure. But if you want some serious specifics for anyone listening, it is absolutely the Chipotle chicken ranch, or the Chipotle bacon ranch, whatever it is. It's fire though, and I love that. So Jersey Mike's, but yeah, sub. It is a sub above.
Where's the sell out button? Oh boy! All right, Subs. Now you get your final pick here.
This is, very straightforward. No frills. Run the offense like fullback dive, motion offense in basketball. Water. Give me some ice water, man. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was hoping water was going to fall to me.
No, fill up some ice water, and I can nurse that for however long. Because boys, I'm going to show my age, but I'm at an age now where I got to monitor my hydration levels. If my piss is too like canary yellow, which it is when I'm hungover, you got to hydrate and get it clear, right?
All right. I had a coin flip here between two different items. I'm going to go with literally the one thing that has always bailed my ass out when I'm so hungover I can't see straight. Fucking Popeyes fried chicken. But Popeyes in specific.
Whoa. I took a fried chicken sandwich. That's basically the same thing.
I thought you said a chicken biscuit.
No, I just said
chicken
fried
biscuit.
chicken. I wrote chicken biscuit.
A chicken biscuit has fried chicken in it.
Fine. Fucking pizza.
That's like
Whatever.
the integral part.
I had a backup because I knew somebody was going to say some dumb shit. All right, pizza. Fried chicken is usually my go-to, but if I can't get fried chicken, a half of a nice greasy sausage pizza, maybe sausage and peppers, mushrooms, whatever. I'll sit there, drink another beer with it, drink a shit ton of water with that beer and that pizza, and I'll just sit there and watch football. Usually how my Sunday evening goes.
The versatility of pizza is great when you're drunk and great when you're hungover.
Exactly.
And you had some rationale behind Popeye specifically, right?
Yeah. So the worst hangover of my life is called Cinco de Mayo. I drank I think 12 Dos Equis, 3 loaded Coronas, and a Kona, and then a shot of tequila straight up. I don't remember getting home. I don't remember getting my couch. My college girlfriend at the time texted me multiple times, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm currently hungover as fuck driving to Popeyes." She goes, "Why Popeyes?" I'm like, "Listen, the Colonel couldn't fix what Louisiana can." I think I took a screenshot of that text message because that's like one of my greatest things I've ever sent is that Louisiana can fix what the Colonel can't.
Dude, I genuinely thought it was going to be as simple as, well, everyone's hungover Sunday, Chick-fil-A's closed Sunday, so I'm going with Popeyes.
I'm a Popeye. Well, Kevin knows this. I'm a Popeyes boy regardless.
He is.
All right.
I am like ratchet as fuck when it comes to my chicken, but I will not touch that deep fried rat shit that they call it chicken KFC. It is Popeyes, Bojangles, or I will settle for Zaxby's if I'm down south. But
Bojangles.
Fucking Cane's is overrated except for that sauce.
You got to get the sauce with Cane's. You can't do it any other way.
Oh, by the way, the blackened ranch when you're hungover is like fucking godsend.
Cane's chicken is mid. The fries are mid. The sauce and the Texas toast, peak.
Listen, that Texas Coke can soak up whatever the fuck I drank the night before. All right, so yeah,
what
pizza.
You got to do is, Suze, Mason, have you guys ever been to a Cane's?
Oh, yeah. No, I've been to Cane's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how far west they go. Oklahoma was further west than me. But so everyone at home, what you got to do is you go 4-finger combo. You replace the slaw with a second serving of Texas toast. You're set. You are set.
That's a veteran right there.
That's the move.
So
I had a Cane's in my dorm freshman year. I learned.
So my go-to was a 4-piece chicken fingers, a large Cajun fry, a gallon of fucking Powerade, and 3 biscuits. And I'm telling you, it could stop any hangover dead in its tracks. Like Brian Dawkins hitting the bus. It was done. I'm telling you right now, I got thrown out of a house party because I was so fucking hammered. And I somehow went to get my car, and I was able to actually survive my hangover and go play adult league football that afternoon because of that Popeyes.
I believe it, man.
I also want to tell a story about Cane's. So, like I said, it was in my freshman dorm. They had to regularly tell people who came down from their dorms, hey, you got to put a fucking shirt on. This is still a restaurant.
This is why I wish I went to a D1 college, man, because like shit like that.
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, I had a buddy who went to LSU, and I heard stories about they had like one of them had a Popeyes at the first level of their dorm, and that would just be the greatest thing ever. The best thing we had in our dorm was fucking Nathan's. I mean, listen, Nathan's egg sandwiches when you're so fucking hungover you can't see straight in the morning are not the worst thing to look at. But because I'm in the Northeast, it was fucking Dunks. It was the first thing everyone went to. I'm like, yo, fuck y'all. I'm going to this knockoff Chick-fil-A for or knockoff Chipotle for as much burritos as I can get in my system. But Kevin, you're on the clock here. What is your third and final selection?
I want to make sure this is not hangover food. It's just hangover draft. Things to cure a hangover.
Yeah, things to cure. Mace went fucking Alka-Seltzer.
Okay. Sleep.
Not a bad answer.
In college, I would get fucking hammered on a Friday, sleep until 4, and start drinking immediately because I'd feel fine.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, sleep.
That's a great answer.
That's me, a.k.a. me on Martha's Vineyard.
That should have been higher, Kevin. Fell way too low.
I think everyone's trying to reinvent the wheel here, but when honestly, like some of it, like Subi went with water, Kev took sleep, and I feel like Mason went Alka-Seltzer. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here, guys. It's hangover cures. And
You
Chris
got Gatorade too.
And Chris will. I went Gatorade, right? So Chris is going to be the judge of this at the end of this. He's going to tell us who won.
If you know Tom Brady's going to be there in the 6th, don't take him in the 1st.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Finally, Mason, who's your final selection?
I'll just go with like a hamburger, man. Like
a burger. There we go.
Just like the rest of these guys, just greasy food, high calorie, gonna make you feel better.
You can throw an egg on it, bacon. That. You can throw freaking just everything.
I had breakfast burger as one of my options.
Yo, breakfast burger. You see, that's too specific, but yeah, I got you. Right. Listen, like one time I was so hungover, I put a fried chicken cutlet on top of a burger with bacon, and it was the greatest thing I ever had in my life because it just destroyed the hangover I had in college.
I think Mason just got the sleeper of the draft, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like
burger to Mr. Irrelevant is absurd.
Also, like I'm surprised nobody took like a basket of fucking French fries. Because the potato is just soaking up alcohol like a motherfucker.
Yo,
like, Kevin, where's the one thing I always made on the video? Like, I always got potato chips or like fries when we're out drinking because I knew it was gonna fucking kill me if I didn't have some of that shit in my system.
Or you ate a pound of prosciutto and then got screamed at by your sister.
Damn straight. All right, so let's go over the teams here. Subi's lineup. Breakfast burrito, deli sub, and water. Mine, breakfast sandwich, Gatorade, and pizza. Kevin's beer, chicken biscuit, and sleep. And Mason, coffee, Alka-Seltzer, and a burger. Chris, for the money, who wins today? You're muted.
I didn't roll.
Oh, nope. Not muted.
Oh, dude. I'm torn between two, but if I had to pick, I'm probably going to go Subi.
Let's go. Chris, you're a good egg. That's right. I've been through these hangovers, boys.
He's seen some shit.
You act like me and Kevin ain't grizzled vets and Mason.
I got years on
you act like I don't have an inherited drinking problem.
Look, this is you
already mentioned
you mentioned Tom Brady, man. This is that 2019 AFC title game, all right? Like young buck.
But Kev got me on the Raising Cane's, the double the bread, drop the coleslaw. That's what I used to do when I used to get it at my campus. Drop the coleslaw, pick up the bread.
I forgot they had one down in Philly.
Yeah, they just built one on my campus like a few months ago.
You know what's so funny? When I was down there, I almost literally walked into that one because I was like, oh, I need fried chicken right now. I'm so fucking hungover. It was after the Packers-Eagles game. I was about to walk into that Cane's.
Dude, I am going to try Popeyes when I'm hungover. I'm going to see
how that goes. Popeyes is the best hangover fried chicken because the amount of salt and breading and grease will destroy your hangover like it owes you money. It's bad.
Never go Churches when you're hungover. By the way, your mouth's already dry. That biscuit will kill you.
Oh, he's right. So, like, we're talking fried chicken places. Number one, I will always have Popeyes because, one, it's going to taste the same whether I get it on Crenshaw Boulevard or in fucking Hollywood. It doesn't fucking matter. It's going to taste the same. I can't do KFC. I've had, I did it when I was a kid. Back when it was good, when we were kids, like my mom used to be like, all right, hey, what do you want? I'm like, I want fried chicken. She went, all right, KFC. KFC used to be gas when I was a kid. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, this is ass. Also, I went to the original Popeyes in like New Orleans, and I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing.
Church's chicken is good. Don't get me wrong.
The
biscuits will kill you if your mouth is already
it's like chewing chalk. It's like chewing chalk.
Yeah.
The other one is Checkers. You got to watch out for shit too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Checkers will knock you out if you're not careful. You got to watch how much they cook that shit.
Also, if you want like a burger though, and you're in Alabama,
Yo,
Pistols
he's
or
got it
Mallow?
on point. Hold on. That's like some serious next level shit. I bought a box of biscuits one time and saved them in my fridge. I literally put an egg and cheese inside the biscuit and with a sausage patty. And that was like my breakfast for like 2 days. I would double them up going to class. It was gas.
You know those underrated biscuits that nobody talks about because it's still like a smaller chain? Jim and Nick's cheddar biscuits.
I've heard of them from my southern friends, but I've never actually ate one.
Immaculate.
I haven't heard of it.
I only
It's
know of it because of the
so
cheddar
good.
biscuits, and then it started coming back to me.
What are you
Another-
What are you saying? What are you saying, Kevin?
Jim and Nick's cheddar biscuits.
Oh no, I'm not familiar.
Our boy from our LSU fan chat is on point. Yes, Popeye's biscuits are unmatched. Listen, the problem is, chat. Popeye's biscuits with a beer is just the greatest combination of all time.
What's y'all's
Popeye's
favorite? What? I gotta know. This isn't on the topic list.
Oh no, it isn't. We already
Go to fried chicken place. Like you can teleport anywhere in the country. You can go wherever the fuck you want. Go to fried chicken place.
Either the spot around the corner from me, Patty's Pantry, which is got like award-winning fried chicken, or Hank's in Brooklyn, Connecticut, which is like this little tiny mom and pop diner that just smokes everything. It's Kevin, you as a
All right,
boy.
so Jared's wrong because he picked two places in the Northeast. Northeast does not know fried chicken.
Your owners are from the South.
I know you brought it up, but Zaxby's is really good.
Oh, we're talking chains. We're talking privates because chains.
Anywhere you got
Chains
one
are
pick.
Bojangles.
No, you have to pick between your Northeastern swill
All
or
right, fine.
a
I will
Bojangles.
get rid of Hank's and I will do Zaxby's as the chain. Or not Zaxby's, sorry. Bojangles is the chain. And then fucking Patty's Pantry in Connecticut as my local.
You got to pick one. I said your go-to. You got to pick one.
Right, fine. You know what? Because you always are. Halloween party, when you come down, I'm going to buy you a bucket of their chicken, and you are going to tell me if it's good or bad or not. All right, Patty's Pantry in Connecticut. It is the closest thing to Southern fried chicken you're going to get up here.
Okay. Mason.
I don't even know, man. I don't even eat like chicken like that. I mean, of the, popular chains, I mean, I feel like you can't even go Chick-fil-A because that's just like too. Chick-fil-A is good. I mean, no way you're gonna rip on me for Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I'm not ripping on you for it. I think it's overrated.
I do too. I think it's too expensive. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Problem.
I think it's not filling, and I think it's way too expensive.
The problem with Chick-fil-A is people are comparing it to Zaxby's. They're comparing it to Bojangles. No, those are two different kinds of chicken. You're comparing tenders to nuggets.
If I had
nuggets,
to go with the
Chick-fil-A is the best.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A makes it the best, but it's not comparable to Bojangles or Zaxby's, like Chris is saying. Or
they serve nuggets though. That's why.
So
they serve tenders. Excuse me.
They got
out of the real fried chicken spots, I would probably say Popeyes. I think is the best. I'm with Jared here. Yeah, I think it's consistent. I think it's hard to beat. I think you know what you're getting every single time you go in there, and they never disappoint you.
Like, and to quote Chet said it perfectly. It takes you 3 Chick-fil-A sandwiches to get really full. Bro, the first time I had that Popeye's chicken sandwich, it was like a half a pound of chicken on a bun. I was like, this is perfect. I don't need anything else. I literally sat there looking at my fries. I'm like, I'm going to heat you up later. Words that I never thought I'd ever say after a workout. Because there's a Popeyes next to my gym, which is amazing. Also, Taco Bell, by the way, which should not be slandered on for lean meat, carbs, and vegetables.
It's terrific.
Taco Bell's good. Also, the reason why I told you had to pick one, Jared, is because Bojangles is the greatest fried chicken establishment.
There's one location north of North Carolina. I made my boy stop there.
Yeah. No, you gotta.
I never had it, so that's something.
It is so fucking good.
I graduated from college 4 years ago. We have not been to a Bojangles in probably 6 years now. My dad still talks about how good Bojangles is.
All right, so the Houston, your fellow Houston mate, Hector.
Oh man, no, relax, my man. Chill out. that is that's a big shout out though. I mean, Houston guys know Frenchies for sure.
Dude, I even know who Frenchies is because I have friends who used to live here.
Jared, I'm assuming Frenchies is a fried chicken place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I've heard good things about it, but I'm like, it's like a Houston thing. I don't know. It's
Yeah. I don't even
it's
think
like John's Pizza in New York. Like, unless you're
Right,
from
yeah.
New York, you think it's douchey. Like when I so Kev, have you ever said, "Hey, Jared, I'm going to come down. We're going to every New Haven pizza spot, which is considered like the best pizza in the country, right? I'm taking you to like what I think is the best one first, not Pepe's, because Pepe's is good, but like you go to Modern is the superior one, but you got to pay cash to park. It's a whole fucking thing.
Why would I get New Haven pizza when I got North End pizza, which is superior?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Oh, just stop it.
Also, has anyone here been to Vegas?
No.
I had a layover in Vegas last year, but I haven't like stayed in Vegas.
Damn it. If anyone listening knows a good fried chicken place in Vegas, because I feel like they probably got one, let me know. I'm going there in October. I need fried chicken.
When are you going there in October?
I got a wedding to go to.
Very nice. You're going to be able to show up for the Clem Halloween party, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. My mother asked. She's about to kick your ass about not coming to the.
I already cleared it with wifey. We're good.
All right, you're good. All right, so that's all good, folks. No, but I will happily always say. Oh, by the way, slept on fried chicken is Korean fried chicken. By the way,
I feel like slept on anything is Korean.
remember? Wasn't that that Korean joint we went to last year on the Vineyard? That fried chicken was fucking gas.
Jared, you know how much I drink when I'm going on vacation with you. I don't remember where we went.
We drank on the boat on the way home.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was like the weirdest name of all time. It was like called like Tiger Hawk or some shit, but it was like I am a big fan of Korean.
No, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they had a Korean.
It
In the seasoning was perfect and the saucing. All right, we've done enough damage tonight, folks. I'm gonna go watch the rest of this Eagles-Browns game. Finally eat some food.
It's 2-3, man. The Eagles, the Browns had a safety, dude.
I watched it while you were on your fantasy football rant. Kevin, where can we find your amazing content? I was listening, by the way, Mason.
You can follow me at BellyUpKev on Twitter or at Quad Tailgate on all social media platforms to get more college football takes.
There you go. All right. And you can find me, Matt, Mason, and the boys at Korner Booth Pod on all social medias. You can find Mason at Korner Booth MR on Twitter and me at BellyUpJared because, continuity reasons. We appreciate y'all for stopping by. Shout out to our sponsors, Belly Up Media, SeatGeek, Candidates, and Mahler Bros. We will catch you guys next week for the Season 10 premiere on Monday. The episode drops Tuesday. And our college football preview starring Mr. Kevin and my man Jay Smith from Unfair Sports. And then our football previews the week after, live from Martha's Vineyard. It's going to be a fun time. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a great night. Have a safe weekend. And we'll see you guys Tuesday. Tuesday, because we're going to record Monday. There you go.